Hi guys, welcome to my channel. I just wanted to get on here and give a little bit of a backstory. I have Hailey here with me. Say hi. Say hi. Hi. I do have three other children. Oldest, which is Joshua, he is 15 years old. Then it's Jamari. She's 14 years old, and Daniel, he is 12 years old. And now little Hailey, she's 15 months old today. I want to say like about 6 months after losing the weight was that we ended up, conceiving and pregnant with Hailey. Right away, I noticed that the pregnancy with her was totally different than the pregnancy that I had with the other ones. I was always sick. It was like morning sickness, but it was like all day. Like I couldn't get up from bed. I had to be lying down all the time. It was just really hard. And at I think it was like her 15-week ultrasound. When I had the ultrasound, so yeah, so that 15-week ultrasound that I had, the doctor noticed that, I was dilated. So they sent me to the emergency room. When I got there, they checked me and everything, and I was 4 centimeters dilated. Mind you, this was at 15 weeks. The doctor told me and my husband that, that if I ended up going into labor, that there was no chance, that she would survive. So he ended up suggesting that I get a cerclage put in. When I was like 25 and a couple of days, 25 weeks and a couple of days along, I started having like they felt like contractions, but I thought they were, just like just not the real thing. So I blew it off like, it's just I'm not drinking enough water, or it's just I'm just doing too much. So it's like that for like 2 days, and then Hailey, and then on the second day, I noticed that they were getting stronger, and it was just like they weren't going away. So I told my husband, I don't think this is normal. I'm feeling these contractions. And he was just like, you've probably just been doing a lot since you've been doing a lot of stuff around the house and everything. And so he's like, just take it easy, relax, and maybe they'll go away. But they didn't go away. They just got stronger. I felt like something pop, and I went to the bathroom, and TMI, but I was bleeding a little bit. And so I told my husband, I felt like something popped and I'm bleeding, and that's when the contractions like really got really strong. And I just couldn't no more. And I was like, take me to the hospital, like something's wrong. And got there, they checked me and they said, you are 5 centimeters dilated. The cerclage, one of the stitches broke, so that was the little pop that I felt. The stitch broke, so they could see the amniotic sac. They could see that, and it was just like there, and I was like 5 centimeters, and I was having contractions, and they said, we're gonna try to prevent these the contractions. We're gonna try to prevent you from going into labor. So they woke me up to labor and delivery. They were giving me medication to help stop my contractions and to keep me from going into labor. um and I was very, very worried because it was it was 26 weeks. It was like really early, and you know we knew that if she was born, there was going to be some complications, that she would have to be in the hospital for a while and everything. So it wasn't something that we wanted. While I was there in labor and delivery, the doctors were like, um, the contractions are like, they look like they're slowing down, and so we might just bring you up to one of the rooms and just keep you in observation and keep giving you medication. You're gonna be on bed rest in the hospital, and all this other stuff. And then as soon as they said that, nurse, and I was like, I think my water just broke. And she checked me. She was like, oh my god, like, your water just broke. And the doctors were in the room when it happened, and they were like, oh my god. They were like, no, now we really have to get you into the operating room. You have to have a C-section, because she was breech. She was feet first. They did an ultrasound before taking me in there just to double check, but she was feet first. So everything was just in a rush, like very rushed. And they ended up giving me this medication to like put me to sleep, because they needed to get her out right away. And I was out of it. To be honest, I don't remember any of it. I looked at her. She was so tiny, so tiny. And if you watch my previous video, you will see how tiny she was. She was only 2 pounds, exactly 2 pounds. And it was just really hard because I thought, like, oh my god, like, is my baby gonna make it? I felt like if like anything could go wrong. And it was just really hard for me and my husband. Doctor came up to my room. He said, she is perfectly fine. She's perfectly healthy. To be a 26-week-old preemie, she is surprisingly doing very well. She's breathing on her own. She's doing better than most of the babies that are in the NICU. And he was like, I'm very surprised, that she's doing so good, but hopefully, this stays like this. And I want to say, like, a day or two later, they were feeding her, and obviously, she was too little to take the bottle or whatever, so they had to give it to her through a little feeding tube through her nose. And after doing that, they noticed that her little tummy was getting like really big and inflamed and everything, and really hard to the touch. And when they checked, they said, the doctor actually came to my room. He's like, I have some news. Hailey is not doing so good as she was before. One of her little intestines burst, and she's leaking into her abdominal cavity. And he said, well, what we gotta do is we gotta open her stomach a little bit, and put like a drainage. And they did that. And surprisingly, she started getting better, and she was doing better. She was doing better. So we were very happy about that. But obviously, with all preemies, especially being born so early, they're bound to have intestinal problems. They're heart problems, and they could have bleeds in their brain, and it's just a lot of things that could happen with preemies. So with her, it was her little valves in her heart. Her heart was working harder. She it caused for buildup of fluid in her lungs, and it was just a dire situation that they told me we have to do something. We've given her all this medication to try and help her so that little valve could close on its own, and you know, just to try and help it close. But everything we're doing is not working. The medication, you know, we're giving her is not working for her at all. The surgeons then sat down with me, and she told me, you know, it's a 50-50 chance with her. She's so tiny. I've never, you know, had to operate on a baby so tiny. Usually we wait till they're a little bit, till they have a little bit more weight on them and they're a little bit bigger. But with Hailey, she was very tiny. Like, she was born and she was 2 pounds, and at this point she was like, I want to say a little bit over 2 pounds. So you know, she was like, it's not gonna be easy. We have 2 choices. Either we could send her to Boston Children's Hospital, or we could do it here. It's totally up to you. But she said, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm giving her a 50-50 chance. We need to know now, like, what your decision is. And I said, well, you know, and I was like, you know, just do what you gotta do. Like, you know, save my baby. And I obviously called my husband, and he was like, yeah, like, you know, we need to do. We want her to live. You know, we don't want her to lose our baby. You know, it was a very, very hard decision. And they went ahead. They did the operation, and they ended up going through the side of her ribs instead of through the front, so she doesn't have a scar like down her chest. It's more of a scar like on the side where her ribs are, and they ended up going in through there. What? Yeah. 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 Dad? Say hi. 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 Obviously, they told us to wait in the waiting room or whatever, and you know, that was the longest time that we felt that, you know, just sitting there waiting. It felt like forever, and it was just really, really hard. And then when the doctor came out and she said, you know, she's done, you know, everything went good. You know, I'm really, really happy with the way everything came out. And that was like, it was like a sigh of relief. Like, oh my God, like, thank God. I just felt like a weight had been lifted. But obviously, you know, after the surgery, you know, they had to keep a really, really close eye on her. They had to hook her back up to oxygen. Like, it was hard seeing her with all those tubes in her, but it's what she needed to get better, and it was helping her get better. So, you know, we just prayed, and I was there every day. Everything turned out great. She started getting better. She then, after a while, you know, they took her off her nasal cannula. She started not to need help anymore, and she started growing and gaining weight and started doing everything that, you know, everything that a healthy baby should be doing. We're just happy that everything worked out. And, you know, then myself, so as soon as, you know, she was fine, then I felt like, oh, now I could take care of myself. And okay, mommy, look, you gotta say hi. Hi. Yes, hi. Hi. Sorry, so I had to put the baby to sleep, but yeah, so you'll get to see, you know, Hailey's journey. You'll get to see more of me, my family, you know. Yeah, like I was saying, hopefully, you know, we could build a little community here, and hopefully you like my videos, and just, you know, again, just hit the like button, subscribe, and hopefully we'll get to know each other better, and you'll get to see more of my family, and hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.